Hello.
Yeah, sir. Very good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, for me, good morning, I think so.
Yeah, for me it's good morning.
Yeah. Okay. So, some of the participants yet to join, sir. Another 2 minutes
Okay.
will join. We'll start the meetings.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Rahul, sir, and Salokumar, sir, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Ready, sir.
Okay, sir. Sir, shall we start?
Yeah.
Yes. Salokumar, sir.
Yes, sir. So, a warm good evening to one and all present here. On behalf of the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Dr. NGP Institute of Technology, Coimbatore, I welcome all the participants and the resource person to the ACTE sponsored Phase 2 online STTP on Machine Learning and Internet of Things for Industrial Applications, Session 6, Day 3. So today we have a wonderful speaker to handle the session on enhanced human capabilities with Internet of Things and mixed reality. Our resource person, Mr. Vinod Ashokan, is a software developer, Cognitive Spark Canada. Welcome you, sir. And I would like to introduce our resource person. And Mr. Vinod Ashokan has completed his degrees in University of New Brunswick, Canada, master's degree in human computer interaction, and before that he has completed his Bachelor of Engineering in St. Joseph's College of Engineering, and he has PG diploma in game development from Image College of Arts and Animation, Chennai, and he worked as many positions in leading companies, and he worked as senior developer in Game Shastra and lead developer in Skyto Business Solutions, Chennai, software engineers in Jumpstart Knowledge Adventure, Bangalore, and senior software engineer in Augrey, and senior software developer in Augrey Head Studios, and now he is software developer in Cognitive Spark, Canada. So he has some of the skills like action scripts, Unity 3D, and game development. And his own projects, some of the own projects includes Game Changer Manager, Mayday Parade Face Off, Trial in Travis, Bollywood Social, Dawn the Social Mobster Game, Top Gun, Kochadayan Kingdom Run. So we are very much delightful to have such a wonderful resource person like you, sir. And we welcome
Thank
you,
you.
sir. And the session is yours, sir, please.
Welcome everyone and it's a morning for me. I just got up, so my voice is a little bit deep today. So please excuse me. So my name is Vinod Ashokan and I'm going to talking about enhancing human capabilities with the help of Internet of Things and mixed reality. So they've already said a lot about me. So I'll just give you a brief description about my skill set. So I started my career as a game developer. So I worked on the visual part of computer science for a many long time, rendering 3D models and getting data and representing them on the screen for people to see. So that got me interested in augmented reality because that uses the same 3D engine capabilities for real world applications and not just for entertainment. And it also was an emerging field. So I thought I need to get myself updated. So I came to Canada to study the human computer interaction under the guidance of Scott Bateman at UNB, and I've completed my degree and got a job here. And I'm working at Cognitive Spark with HoloLens, and we use IoT and HoloLens to create enterprise solutions for industries which need to make their process more faster and leaner. So first, a little introduction about these technologies. Both any technology in the world, let's take from fire to the big supercomputers that we have today, have been designed and invented to just do three things. It's created to make our problems easy to solve. Our problems should be solved fast, and it should be solved accurate. So these are the three main goals for which whatever we have invented as human beings are being used. So the technologies that we create are used to augment our capabilities. So in this picture, you can see Stephen Hawking. He is a mathematics professor at Cambridge University, and he also found the Hawking radiation, which is a big thing in physics. So he was affected by a degenerative neurological disease called ALS. You might have heard about it. So he is paralyzed from his head to toe, and he cannot even move his hands. But with the help of lots of IoT devices and machine learning, and he was able to create the engineers and computer scientists were able to create a wheelchair and a speech synthesizer for him, which just used his movement of his cheeks to understand his intent and move the wheelchair or create sentences for him to speak. Before we go further, I'll talk a little bit about mixed reality. The picture you see here is called a mixed reality continuum, a virtual reality continuum. It was proposed by Paul Milgram, who is called the father of human computer interaction. So it has on its left side the real environment, what you see with your naked eye, or what you can see using videos, that is just the real world without any adulteration. And on the right end of the spectrum, you can see the totally virtual environments, that is the virtual reality. Everything there is computer generated, and there is not even a single pixel of real world information in there. So the mixed reality is something that lies in between these two. It can be augmented reality or augmented virtuality or anything in between. So what is augmented reality, you ask? It is superimposing of virtual information in the real world, and to make augment the real world and give us more information about the real world objects. It's like, if I want to give you an example, everyone here might have already used a mixed reality application. It's I can call it the Google Maps. If you have used the satellite view or the street view, you are seeing the real world in pictures as a satellite picture or a picture taken by a driven car. And you're using the GPS data, which is again mobile IoT device, which gives the GPS data or the GPS data from the satellite, and which helps you navigate the real world. So that's mixed reality, superimposing the real world with virtual information to enhance your abilities. And then you must all know about IoT, the Internet of Things. They are small devices which take up less space, but they can be numerous in number and give you data on different things like climate, temperature, proximity, etc. There's lots of things talked about IoT, but I'm going to discuss 5 problems with IoT. One of the main problems with IoT is basket of remotes problem. Suppose you say you have a house, you might have multiple IoT devices like the fridge, the microwave, the TV, and etc. But they all don't use a single remote or a single app to give you the information it collects from these devices. Each company gives you a different app to control these IoT devices. That becomes a problem when people are overwhelmed with lot of apps or ways to communicate with their devices. This is one of the main problems in IoT, and many companies are working towards finding common communication channel so that all the IoT devices can be controlled by a single app. Then size consideration. When you have a small industry or a small scale operation, say you can do it with 10 devices or 15 devices. Once you scale up and become a big organization at multiple places, the number of devices are going to increase exponentially, and the companies are yet to decide on how to manage all these devices. The third problem is using all the data collected usefully. So most of the time, IoT data that we get is used to find right now to find faults in their system. So it only tells you that something is not working. So people are now trying, industries are now trying to use the data collected and identify problems even before they happen. Like, will this machine cause a problem in, say, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, and plan in advance. The next big problem is the network complexity. When you have Wi-Fi at your home, it's difficult to get the network connection at the last room in your house. It's spotty, you get disconnections, it's slow. So imagine a huge warehouse with thousands of connected devices. You need to give wireless connection to every one, and the bandwidth it's going to take is going to be huge. And the network complexity is one of the problems why IoT is not being very used that much in real world scenarios. And it also needs power. And spatial information is not present with the many IoT devices right now available in the market. Suppose say you have a sensor which is used to find temperature of your coffee maker. So you know where you put that sensor, and you know from where the data is being collected. Suppose tomorrow someone else comes to your house and sees the data, but they want to know where the sensor is located. They cannot know because the information that we see in the app may contain the data of the temperature. It may contain a timestamp. That's it. It does not have the spatial information to show you exactly where the sensor is present in the real world. These are the problems that are being now addressed by many companies, and there's a partnership of big companies like Google, Microsoft, and other stakeholders to create a common guidelines on how these can be solved and communicated between devices of various companies. And once you have all this data, one of the main important things to make the data useful is data visualization. Ben Shneiderman, a computer scientist, had said that visualization gives you answers to questions you didn't know you had. So when you just see a data on a paper, you're not going to be that excited. It's not going to make any sense. Once you convert it into charts, bar graphs, pie charts, and other kinds of 2D representation of the information, you get a better idea. You can compare the performance from last week to this week. You can make decisions and you can do a lot of things. But 2D representation of data has its own limitation. You can see a graph and understand it on a 2-axis, time and a other number, but it cannot give you the results of multiple objects at the same time, because on a flat screen, if you see 3-dimensional data, or if you're going to see multiple charts in the same screen, it's going to be overwhelming for the user. So if you have augmented reality, that thing can be solved. You can represent 3D graphs, you can represent 3D information to show the data. You can also have multiple data visualizations in your viewport so that you can turn around and look at the different data and compare them and have a better picture of what you're seeing. There are two more things that comes in handy when there is large number of data that people have to analyze to get useful information out of it. Spatial memory. Spatial memory refers to the memory for location of objects and self-orientation within the environment. This is nothing but if you ask your mom where is the coffee powder, she'll tell it's in the left drawer, second box and third row something, because she has memorized the location of all the things in her environment with the uh, location in mind. That is the direction, the number of boxes to see total number of boxes and which box contains which thing. So this is called spatial memory. It is easier for us to remember things if we associate it with a location. This is the same. The spatial memory is the one that helps you navigate the world. It helps you, without your knowledge, look at various landmarks in the world and remember the direction to a place that you have gone before. When you are in a dark room, this is the spatial memory is the one that lets you switch on the light switch without seeing it. Another important skill that someone needs is pattern recognition. So detecting pattern has been important part of human evolution, and humans rely on detecting patterns on the environment all the time to find danger, to learn things, and to learn things faster. So, for example, pattern recognition, you can say a catchy song is also a pattern recognition. You have something repeated in equal intervals, so that makes you remember the song. It becomes catchy and becomes a viral hit. Same thing for direction. If someone is lost somewhere and you're asking direction from someone, it's easy to remember if there is a pattern to it. Say left, right, left, right, left, right. There is a pattern, so it's easy for you to remember and it's easy for you to reach the destination if you associate the data with a pattern. So why do I tell all this? Augmented reality is going to give you all these capabilities without you having these gifts on your own. So let's discuss about three people who had data visualization powers without the help of computers. So Nikola Tesla, he was an inventor and a mathematician, physicist, and he invented lots of he invented lots of things, including the wireless transmission, X-ray, etc. And he also found the AC current. He had a special power that he could visualize his inventions in his mind. He doesn't need to draw it, create a model, or do a computer rendering. He was able to visualize before his eyes and imagine how the machine will work. What will happen if he turns this part of the machine? What will happen if the screw is loose? He was able to imagine everything in his mind, and it was a superpower which led him to invent many things. Then you have Robert Evans. He was an astronomer. He had memorized the starfield positions of 1,500 galaxies in space. So just by looking at these 1,500 galaxies, he could say whether they are in the correct position in the sky or have they moved. So this helped him to identify 3 to 4 supernovas explosions just by looking at these galaxies, and because he has memorized them, he was able to find these minute changes in microns of levels, and this was really a superpower, and this helped him discover many supernovas in his lifetime without the help of computers. Only after the 1960s, with the advent of computers, the other astronomers were able to identify special things in space in the same speed as Robert Evans did. Then you have Shakuntala Devi, a famous mathematician from southern India. She was able to find the third root of a 200-digit number with ease. She was like a human supercomputer. She was faster than the supercomputers of her time. And during the interview, she had said that she doesn't like to see the numbers with the commas because we use commas to simplify the numbers. But for her, the whole number as a whole is simpler. She was able to visualize these numbers in her mind and do her calculations in her mind faster than any of us could do. So all these people had data which they collected from the real world, and they were able to augment these the real world with these data by visualizing them in their mind. So they have this superpower. So with the help of IoT and AR, we can get the data and augment the real world for the humans, other humans. So how things mix up. So how AR is going to help you. So the IoT devices in the world, like say these smart home, all the devices are going to capture data from the real world and convert it into digital information to your smartphone or your computer. These digital informations are going to be processed by these computers into useful bits of information, and these information are going to be again given back to the physical world through AR devices and shown to you in real world locations. So the screenshot here shows an example of whether the light is on or off, the door is locked or unlocked, what's the temperature of the kettle, or is the fan on. So you're getting the information from the IoT devices and converting into a real world virtual snippets. So using the combination of IoT and AR is a recent trend. Until 2017, the industries were not that much interested. So a consultancy group called Boston Consultancy Group had done a survey on thousands of US companies for PTC. They found out that industries have started investing in AR and IoT as a combination from the early 2017s, and it was found that 87% of the companies they surveyed had been doing this research of combining AR and IoT to give a better productivity. And the design they used is they first start with IoT. They create a test mesh of IoT, get its data and display it in a 2D screen like a computer. But then they realize that AR can augment the capabilities of IoT, and they move to IoT plus AR combination. And that has helped them convey the use of IoT to industry people and customers more easily. The AR gives a wow factor and also visualizes the data, so it's easy for the people to understand. Devices. So after 2017, we have a huge number of devices with AR capabilities available in the market. We have smartphones with AR core and AR core support. We have headsets with mixed reality and augmented reality support. So mobile devices have been the most common AR devices used right now, with 51% of industries trying to use mobile phones. Next comes Microsoft's HoloLens. It's a headset which you put on your head and it gives 3D information on your eyes. And it's been used by 31% of the companies, and the rest are used by proprietary augmented reality solutions. And the payback, if you see this survey, they found out that the industries are thinking that the industries have said that they will get back the money they spent on IoT and AR research in 3 years. And 17% of the companies said in 2018, in just 1 year, they have got back the money they have invested in IoT and AR by the way of improving their production capacity and reducing errors. So let's see how IoT and AR together as an application can help people. It can help people in 3 ways. It can help to visualize the data in a 3-dimensional world and interact with it. So as you can see, a person is looking at the muscles of humans, and they can just rotate the object, turn around, look at its individual parts, individual muscles. They can name it, see the name of it, and see how what the muscle is helping us to do. The data can be used to diagnose a problem. So in this example, you see a person using augmented reality and IoT data from the various sensors inside this pump to get information and find out which part of the pump is not working. So this can be used to diagnose the problem fast, instead of opening the whole thing and finding out which part is the problem, we can have sensors that can detect the defect and inform to us immediately. And it can be used to take action. Here you can see an automated production facility. It's showing you the various metrics, and this can be used to decide on whether they have to ramp up the production or slow down because they have not many orders. It can help to take action on the data that we have collected. So this is a 3x3 matrix of the use cases I said: visualizing the data, diagnosing the problem, taking action, and what are the industries using them using the AR and IoT for. It's used for enhancing human capabilities, manage large spaces, and manage equipments and objects. As you can see, 13% of the industries are spending on visualizing data and interacting with the environment to enhance human capabilities. And you see, managing spaces like warehouses, most of their funds are spent on finding way to optimize the warehouses. Then for managing equipments, if you see, they are using to assess the quality of products, monitor the operations, and diagnose the equipments. So what is the main industrial use case of IoT and AR right now? It is to reduce the cost of and increase the revenue of maintenance. So this is something that even what we are doing at Cognitive Spark. So what can the IoT and AR together can be used is predict the equipment failure beforehand. So with sensors embedded in the machines, we can always monitor each and every aspects of these industrial machines. And with AR headset, you don't need to have a computer or mobile phone, open the app and check for it regularly. Once you have a headset or something once you have a augmented reality or mixed reality headset on your head, while you're working in the floor, you can just have a look about to see if the equipment is working at 100% capacity or if it's having any problems, and it can be fixed before you have a failure of the machine. It can be used to remove bottlenecks by visualizing the data as a whole in front of your eyes from your whole different departments of a company. You can try to find where the problem lies and reduce bottlenecks that reduce the speed of your production, or how you improve the efficiency of how your organization works. Reduce repair cost and downtime. Many industries might have very costly machines which cost them millions of dollars if it's down and it's not working for even a single day, and they have to fly in an expert from somewhere thousands of kilometers in an airplane to their facility to have a look at the machine and repair it. And during this situation like COVID, where we have lots of restriction in travel, it's really impossible to get the repair done in time. So IoT and AR can help reduce this downtime by connecting with the expert through a video call and allowing the use of AR. We can show him the equipment through augmented reality, and with the sensors data, it can help the person at remote location identify the problem and help the local mechanic fix the issue without the need for him to travel long distances. This will reduce the time of maintenance and downtime. Better training. Even in small companies, it's difficult for people to allocate resources for the new joinees to train on them and get themselves accustomed to these machines. Because again, the same issue, if something bad happens, the machine is going to be down for a long time and it's going to cost a lot of money to the company. So augmented reality solutions can give the companies a virtual training bed for training these new joinees without the need for them to work on the actual machine itself. So this can increase the training time and have better in-depth training and long hours of training on a machine before on a virtual machine before they can come in and look at the original machine and get a final rundown. So what are the use cases that we are looking at in the future where we can see IoT and augmented reality implemented? We can see it in healthcare. There are solutions available in the market where um the doctors wear smart glasses so that they can see the pulse, heartbeat of the patient right in their eyes, so they don't need to turn around to look at the pacemaker machine, or they don't need another nurse to tell them it's in 100, it's in 97, it's in 120. So it reduces the time. It doesn't make them. Helps the healthcare worker to be more relaxed because he has information real time with him, and he doesn't need to verify it every time by turning around. It's going to be used a lot in workshops. um, with the help of AR and machine learning and IoT, we can easily identify the location where the problem is faster, and it can also help us fix the issues faster. Warehouses Warehouses are going to use IoT for streamlining their deliveries. It can be used to identify bottlenecks. It can find missed out packages or missed time, and easily help the organizers to organize their warehouse better. It's going to be used in retail, and it's already available in many cosmetics and fashion brands where you can try out their cosmetics and dresses on yourself through augmented reality before you purchase. Entertainment, everyone would have seen Pokemon Go, which is a perfect example of IoT and AR mix. The Pokemon Go uses real world GPS data and augmented reality to show you monsters on real world. And what monster you get is based on your geolocation. So here you can see a water based Pokemon because he's near the water. If he's near the mountain, he'll get a mountain Pokemon. If he's in the desert, he'll get a desert animal to fight against him. We also see it widely used in the latest flight simulator game. So it's again, it uses the temperature data from around the world to temperature and climate data from around the world. So in the game, in real time, if you are flying to using flight simulator to fly through from Chennai to say Delhi, and there is a storm in between, you're going to see the storm in the game because it's simulating the weather conditions inside the game based on real world data that it has gathered from various weather stations. Navigation, everyone would have seen Google Maps, and right now it's a 2D interface with pictures of the real world. In the future, I'm sure Google is going to give you augmented reality solutions. When you wear a smart glass, you're going to see the path on the road itself instead of on your screen. Automation, um, it's going to be used to control the automatic machines, get its how it's working, and reduce or increase its efficiency based on the data that you have. Education, uh, with the advent of smart classes and online learning, more and more schools and education institutes are going for augmented reality solutions and IoT to enhance the education capabilities of their institutions. It can give you the performance data of each kid to the teacher, and it can help them make decision and help weak students improve better. So I'm going to show you a video about some 5 use cases. Seeing can be more efficient than me talking. It's going to help you understand it better. The remote expert assistance. This is what I'm doing right now at Cognitive Spark. The one which is shown here is not our solution, but it's something similar to this. So the expert gets called from the worker on the field. The expert here is augmenting the worker's view with drawings and text so that he can make him understand the issue better and faster? Thank you. I'm here to ready to take questions.
So thank you, sir. There will be some questions in short box. Rahul, sir.
Yes, sir. So shall I start reading the questions, sir? Vinod, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay, so first question. What are the uses of IoT in space applications?
In space, you mean outer space, like outside Earth?
They are asking about real space, sir. Outer side from the Earth.
Oh, safe operation. I thought space.
Space of
Okay.
the
Safe operations.
space SPAC.
Pardon?
Space applications.
Space
Spacecraft.
application.
Okay. Can you type it? I think I'm not able.
SPAC, sir. Space.
Okay.
Spacecraft.
Oh, spacecraft and all those. Um, I think if you take International Space Station itself, last week they found out there is a leak in the International Space Station. How they found out is there are pressure sensors in every module of the space station, and they found out that the pressure sensor and the crew's quarters was not up to the mark. So they found out that the air is being leaked. So they totally shut down the part, and the US astronauts are now staying in the Russian part of the space station so that they can fix the problem and save the space station. So that's the most important uh, application of IoT in space. So it will save our lives if there is any problem with our spacecraft.
Okay, sir. Sir, shall we move to next question?
Sure.
Please give insights about data stream processing free tools.
In free tools.
Yes, sir, free tools. Insights about data stream processing free tools.
Processing free tools. I have not used much of free tools to do the data processing, so I'm not an expert in that.
Okay, sir. We move to next question, sir.
I have mostly relied on Excel. That has been the most used data processing free tool for me.
Okay, sir. Next question, sir. How AR helpful in safe operation? SAFE.
I found a question in the box. I'll just type for him. For safe operation of machineries, you're asking.
Yes, sir. Safe operation.
So take any machine available. It has the vibration. Whenever you switch on a machine, it's moving and it has a vibration. And what happens is now they are measuring the vibration. That is how much millimeter or centimeter the machine is vibrating every time it's switched on and then it's running, and they have a real-time data compiled of this vibration. Say it's vibrating 0.5 millimeter every time it's running, say your motor. Suddenly one day it starts to vibrate 0.5, then 0.6. Then they know something is wrong with the machine and it's going to get repaired because it's vibrating in a different way, not the usual way. This way they can find problems even before it happens. It might be a loose screw, it might be overheating, anything can cause the vibrations to change, but it's a minute change. So even the slightest change can be identified and fixed. This can greatly improve the life of any machinery.
Okay, sir. Sir, next question. How to start learning this AR programming? Any software tools available as open source?
Yeah, there is Unity, which is a free game engine. So you need to use a game engine because uses 3D information. So it's easier to use a game engine to do it, and it's free for companies and individual users who have income less than $300,000. So it should be free for anyone trying it out. All you have to do is create an account in unity.com, download their latest SDK, and you should have one of those AR enabled mobile phones or a headset to use the SDK.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. These are the questions we found in chat box, sir. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, sir.
Sir, one more question, sir, in short box. Recent advancement for IoT in industry sector.
Recent advancement in IoT, it's updating every week. So the recent advancement I'll say is that I already told you before, like there are a group of companies that are they're joining hands to create a kind of like we have the internet protocols, TCP, UDP, like that. They're trying to find a protocol so that each and every one of them can access the sensors of other companies so that they can have a single app to analyze all the data and give useful information for the user. I'll say that is one of the latest, most important innovation in IoT.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Sir, good afternoon. This is
Yes.
Chandan Barik from Odisha, sir.
Yes, sir. Tell me.
Sir,
hello,
I
sir.
have posted, will IoT be applied for logistics sector? Because the logistics sector, that is a huge problem in traffic or for materials management. So,
Yeah.
shall you send some experience about
IoT is
the application of IoT in logistics sector?
Yes, IoT is already used in logistics sector. Like Amazon and Alibaba use robots with IoT sensors on their warehouse so that the robots know where to go and store the parcel, and the storage robots and the delivery robots which wants to take these parcels know now where it's stored in the warehouse, so it can just go and take it and send it to the delivery man. So that's one example. And in India, you see there are lots of transport companies with they have lots of lorries around India, logistic companies. They have used a kind of box which uses GPS technology and other sensors so that they can track the vehicle movement, where it's stopping, how long it's stopping, is the fuel reported by the driver correct, like how long the lorry has driven for how many kilometers, and as it used this fuel that he's telling it's used. So it can find out if some of the drivers cheating, taking a longer route. It helps them to see the location of the lorry in real time in a map. So it's already being used in India and for logistic companies.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, another one question, sir. How IoT
Yeah.
is useful for renewable energy systems?
Renewable energy systems. IoT can be used in renewable energy systems like renewable energy is mostly right now used only if like there is a huge surge in demand. So the windmill will be always spinning, but its electricity is not always used in our grid. So we wait for the peak time when the evening when everyone reaches the home or when some industry starts to shift, the grid needs lots of electricity immediately. That is the time when when we see the capacity of renewable energies being taken by the grid. But right now it's done manually. Like you can see the fluctuation in your house when there are lots of people coming to their home and switching the AC at the same time in the nights. You can see the fluctuations. This can be reduced by using IoT, so the computer will know when to expect the demand and improve the grid's capacity even before people start to switch on their ACs or switch on their machines.
Okay, sir. Sir, next question. What are the
Yes.
major security concerns in use of IoT in renewable energy systems?
One of the main concerns of IoT right now is many IoT sensor makers do not think about security. So their chips are easily hackable by amateur hackers. They can get the information from inside the chip, or even make it malfunction from outside, so that the company which is using them waste time trying to find out the problem. So security is the one of the security of the chip itself is one of the main problem.
Okay, sir. Another one question, sir. By using IoT, can we save the energy in industry?
We can save even energy at our home. If you have sensors at home, you can usually efficiently operate your light bulbs and fans and reduce the power consumption of the home level. So it will surely help the industries. So you can have sensors that switch off the light as you leave the room. You can have sensors to on and off your tap when you put your hands below, so you can save water. You can have smart sensors attached to the your main box, which can find out if there is any wiring problem even before you have a busted bulb or a melt or you have a fire accident. So all this can be used in a home. Then it can easily translate to any industries and give us lots of energy saving and safety.
Okay, sir. Dear participants, if you have any questions, you can directly ask to resource person, or else you can put it in the chat box.
Rahul sir,
Yes, sir.
if there is no, sir, thank you so much, sir, Vinod sir.
Thank you for giving me the
Wonderful
opportunity.
session. Yes, sir. It will be thoughtful session. It will be a lot of take-home message for all the research community and faculty community. So thank you, participants, for spend time for replace the resource person. So if you have any further clarification, you can send me the question through mail, so we can send to this resource person, so can get clear of this. So thank you so much, sir, Vinod sir, because you have valuable time, because you are in morning, you are sitting for us. Okay, sir, thank you, because you are worked and tonight also. So thank you so much, sir. Rahul sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, once again, I thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your knowledge in the real-time application. What and all you are developing, you are sharing. It's really amazing. Actually, it's all new for us. Also, we are learning. We learn many things. What is happening outside. Also, it is inspiring anyone. It seems they are sharing their positive comments in the chat box. Also, you can see that session is super. Also, informative session, and also you are explaining everything in a lucid manner. Also, many are getting doubts regarding these advanced
Thank
studies.
you.
It seems that it's really inspiring. Actually, the thing which you are working in a reality, like a mixed reality, which contain augmented reality or anything else with compared to IoT, and also including many automated applications. Also, the way you presented the slide is really amazing, sir. It seems that you are using Prezi to present the slides. The way it slides is really good, sir. Also, thank you for your presentation, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Sir, HOD, sir, shall we conclude?
Yes, sir. Sir, conclude. Thank you so much, all the participants. Thank you, sir.
Vinod, sir, once again, thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay.